Three Body Problem, episodes 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so I just want to preface this video by saying if you guys are struggling to enjoy the show and you're still early on in the show, I was having a bit of a hard time liking the show because I'm a big fan of the book. I think the book is one of my favorite science fiction books I have ever read. So it was a little bit hard going back and forth from the show to the book because there were so many things that were so vastly different from the book and the show, and then also some things were slightly different, so it was hard to keep track of which one, if it happened in the book, and trying to coexist in two spots, the book and the show, not really the best way to enjoy and especially try to review a show. So episodes 3 and 4, the swearing in that show very much drastically was reduced, and it was much easier to watch as a result. So there are going to be some spoilers in the video. I'm going to do my best to let you know when the spoilers happen, but it is going to be part of the video. So love him or hate him, Jack unfortunately dies in the third, I believe it was in the third episode. So he rejects the offer to join the Illuminaries, whatever they're freaking called, I forget, but you know what I'm talking about. They tried to persuade him otherwise, but Jack sticks to his guns and he tells them to, in no uncertain terms, F off, and tells his partner to meet him back at the bar. So Jack goes home, and the woman that disappears from the cameras executes him. And she was like, all you had to do was continue playing, join us. So that's the end of Jack. So we go through two, like each episode had its own VR portion, and both of them were really good. So as we're playing the VR game, they start piecing together that they're actually helping the Trisolarans. I'm always going to call them the Trisolarans. That's how I know them from the book, and that's how I'm going to keep it. And then we have the scene with Evans where he's reading the book of fairy tales to the Trisolaran, and the story that he's reading is the Little Red Riding Hood. So the Trisolaran on the receiving end was asking questions regarding the wolf and whether Little Red Riding Hood knew who she was talking to or not, and he had to explain to the other end what a story is. And the Solaran wasn't able to understand what it was. So Evans ends up explaining it in a manner that he kind of explains it as it's a made-up story. So the Trisolaran was like, oh, so you're dishonest. So then Evans kind of had to explain to the Trisolarans what a lie was and why, as a human species, humans do tend to lie. Some lies are good, some lies are bad, sometimes you have to lie, and some people are just pathological liars. So the Trisolarans, they are a species that does not lie. It's not a concept that is familiar to them. So it tells Evans that they need to think on it. So Evans gets a little bit worried. So a short period passes, but Evans keeps on kind of getting anxious. Like the more times that pass, the more anxious Evans gets. Are you there, my lord? So the Trisolaran comes back online and then tells them that it understands now And as it understands us, because this is a new concept to the Trustlarans, they are afraid of us because we cannot be trusted. So Evans tries to explain, but you cannot explain something. So like, a lie is not a small thing. A lie is massive because there's layers to lies. There's different type of lies. And to a species that a lie is completely foreign to, good luck. So thanks to Evans reading fairy tales to the Trustlarans, he has doomed humanity. I'm going to dive right into episode 5. You are bugs. So guys, I'm still not good with the names because I'm familiar with the book names, but I'm not familiar with all the cast of characters in the show. So this episode focuses a lot on Wade, a little bit on, I'm always going to call him Dashi, Big She, and they recruit the nanotech scientist and get her and try to convince her to reactivate her nanotechnology, nanothread project. So of course, every time she goes back to the project, the numbers come back. Wade tells her pretty much she has to trust him. So she kind of does, and as she activates the program, she's covering her face, very anxious, very scared of what's gonna happen, because once the countdown goes to 0, you're dead. And wouldn't you know it, that doesn't happen. So then she's like, I don't understand, why didn't the numbers appear? And then Wade is like, well, it looks like the flock is not being protected. And the flock he's talking about are Evans and everybody that's on the Judgment Day ship. So we're getting deeper into the spoilers. So you guys can drop out over here for episode 5. If you did, I hope you guys enjoyed the video at least. Drop a like, subscribe, and come back for more Stellar Blade videos, more 3 body problem videos. There's going to be a lot of those 2 videos coming up on this channel. So they start setting up the poles that are going to shoot out the nanothreads. And of course, you're doing a big thing, so of course you're going to have, your conscience is going to get the better of you, and you're like, how many, she was wondering how many people are on the ship. And unfortunately, that is a part of war. There are going to be casualties, including innocent people, and that does freaking suck. But you are fighting for the survival of mankind. Never envy people who have to go to war. Regardless of what side you find yourself, never envy those people. So we get a little bit more of an understanding of how Evans and everybody that's on Judgment Day, the ship, and they're pretty much revering the Trustlarans as gods. They're being protected by the Trustlarans. Like, they are being protected, but they're being protected through the Sophons and the technology that we have. So everything we say, everything we do is always being monitored, so you cannot hide anything from the Sophon and the Trustlarans. So they finished setting up the nanothread artillery, I guess you can call it. So they had to do it in a way that Evans and the crewmates would not be suspicious, so they couldn't do an actual assault on the ship, which is why they used the nano threads. So Evans and the female scientist, sorry, whatever her name is, they're in their base and they're preparing for the assault. So don't forget, they also captured UNG and they're trying to get information out of her, so she's not talking. And we get back to her towards the end. So everything is in place. So Wade issues the command to fire as Judgment Day is approaching, oblivious to the imminent and lethal threat ahead. And he goes, fire. So they launch the attack. But nothing is happening. Meanwhile, the scientist is looking very anxious at the screen, and then she finally says, it's working. So they keep on watching the screen. And then we have the scene where the guy is on the landing strip on Judgment Day. The hose gets cut, confusion, and then he gets cut into multiple pieces by the nano threads. So it's a very, very long scene. I think the scene lasts for at least 5 minutes. It's very hard to watch because you see men, women, especially children. You hear the children running and screaming, trying to flee for their lives, but there's nowhere for them to go. They're stuck on the ship, and everything is getting sliced up. And you hear the creening and the crying and the crushing and the sliding of the ship as it's being sliced into hundreds of pieces. So Evans runs out of his office to see what's going on, and then he realizes that they've been abandoned by the Trisolarans. So he runs into one of the offices and grabs something out of the cabinet, and he's running, trying to escape, but again, where are you gonna go? There's nowhere for you to go. And then we see the final scene where Evans gets cut down into, I believe it was 3 pieces, and he's clutching a red package, a red box to his chest. His savior. I guess it might have been his Bible, right? So one thing that a lot of people aren't really paying attention to, because a lot of people don't like Wade because they think that he's an evil asshole, whatever. He could be. And if you pay attention, and this is very important regarding the character of Wade. He understands what he's doing and what this all costs. So during the entire time that Judgment Day is being torn apart by the nanofibers, the nano threads, he keeps a stoic look at the screen, never taking his eyes off the screen. So here's the thing. That entire scene, just that scene with Evans bearing down on the screens and not missing a beat of what's going on. He's not reveling in what is happening. Like I said, he understands what is going on screen. He understands the lives that were lost. And and obviously he is connected to that. The other ones are immature at war, but he's a seasoned, pretty much you can call him a warlord at this point. So he is pretty much honoring the death of all those passengers, especially the ones that were innocent, that had no idea what was going on. And I'm sure to an extent, he wasn't reveling at the death of Evans. It was, when you read The Art of War and you understand The Art of War, you'll know what I'm talking about. You never revel in the pain that you cause to your enemies. All right, so the attack is over finally. And man, that final scene, the ship just being sliced up like salami and everything just sliding forward, and all you see is the debris and the destruction. And then they find the girl's foot, and it finally dawns on her what just happened. I'm not sure what to make of Evans congratulating her after the attack. Could have been an asshole move, for sure. So this guy's is a wind dampener. Hopefully it's working. It's a kind of windy day today. So then Wade and the crew are wading through the debris, the destruction of the ship, and they find Evans. And then they discover the red package being clutched at his chest. So they take it back to the ship to try and figure out what it is, and it's a hard drive. So there's quantum entanglement and all these fancy hacker words. And he's asking them how long it's going to take for them to hack it and crack the hard drive. And the guy's like, it could take 300 years, could take a million years. But then all of a sudden, it unlocks. And then they find the files inside, and then they find a file that's 100 billion terabytes. And the file is called Sophon. So don't forget, they have this connected to the world's most powerful centralized computer. And what do you think is happening? Of course, the Sophon is being installed on everything that we have that's connected to an internet connection and anything that has an electrical signal. Fast forward a little bit, and Evans meets up with the Chinese scientist. He picks her up in one of those Austin, I think it was in Austin, you guys can correct me in the comments. So he brings her to the base and asks her if she knows what a Sophon is. Of course, she has no idea what a Sophon is. Evans knows what a Sophon is, and some other people high up in the ranks where Judgment Day used to be. And I'm pretty sure Yi Wenji knew as well. See, I'm trying to not talk about the book as much as I could, because the show is a lot better now that I'm not trying to live with the memory of the book. So she goes, I don't know what a Sophon is, but I think I know somebody who might. So then her and Wade put on the VR, he freaks out like everybody freaks out on their first few times getting into the Sophon, the Trisolaran VR. And then they encounter the woman, the samurai. And then she tells them what a Sophon is. And then she tells them what's going to happen to humanity. So they were fearing us. They saw us for some reason technologically more advanced than they are. And based on the lie that was told by Evans, we cannot coexist, and we are nothing more than bugs. And then the simulation ends with with her asking the Sophon if the Sophon is ready. So they explain that there's going to be 4 Sophons, 2 that are going to be on Earth, and the other ones that are going to be in space, where the Trisolarans are. And no matter how far they are apart, the connection is going to always be instantaneous because they have absolute zero weight to them, the Sophon. Sophon, are you ready? Yes, I am ready. And then the sky darkens. The simulation ends. And then they all go out, and whatever was happening in the VR is happening in real life as well. And what I wanted to do, today we had the eclipse. I miscalculated the time, and I wanted to do this video outside during the eclipse, so you guys could see it getting instantaneously darker as I was talking about the Sophon being released. So that is what happens in episode 5, and it ends with every screen glitching, and then on every single screen, no matter where you are on Earth, no matter what device you're using, if it has a screen, it controls everything, it sees and knows everything, and you have a big black screen that says, "You are bugs. You are bugs." All UNG had to do was not respond. And then humanity was doomed because of Evans reading fairy tales to a Sophon, to the Trisolaran, thus making us a big threat to the Trisolarans. So I believe in the next episode 6, we're going to start seeing the building of the wall facers. I am part of the wall facer project. So if you guys stay tuned for that video, I will be doing also a video of what a Sophon is, and do we have a form of Sophon today? Abso-freaking-lutely. And it should shock you. Alright, I appreciate you guys giving me some of your time today. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Check out the links in the description for the shop for t-shirts, posters, mugs, pins, stickers. I'm looking for a place that does calendars. Hopefully I can find them. So it's Redbubble, Cosmic Blessed Eyes. There's the DeviantArt page where you guys could suggest what you want in the DeviantArt store be put on the Redbubble store. So at some point you guys might be able to purchase stuff directly from my YouTube channel. So I appreciate you guys tuning in to all my videos. There's always something new coming out. I am Negan, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. All right.